Hey everyone, welcome to Ellis Mowers. Thank y'all for watching. Got an LT1442 MTD riding mower here. Got it on trade. This is actually the 7th lawnmower riding mower in a line of trades that I've gotten. It started with a red LT3000 and this is number 7 in that line. I got $375 plus this mower for mid-90s Craftsman that was in my family for a while. We have since upgraded mowers and didn't need it anymore. So it was in very nice shape. That's why it commanded a little bit more money than they typically do. What I know about this so far is it needs a starter solenoid and it's got a broken wire, ground wire, going to the stator, I believe. So I'll show you this, what might be a rather interesting lawnmower here coming up right now. All right, here it is. Never had one like this, like this spec anyways. Never seen one, never seen a white MTD. I think they call us, I think it's missing a little bit of an emblem, but I think it was originally an MTD Tradesman. It looks like it is from sometime in the mid-90s. It's a LT1442, but it has not a 14 horsepower under the hood. It's actually got a 16.5 opposed twin, Briggs and Stratton. Runs good. I was able to jump the starter solenoid in order for it to work, and it does, so that's a good thing. This engine in particular was made in '98. I do not think this is the original engine to this lawnmower. I believe it had a 14 horsepower. It could have had a 14 horse opposed twin. They did make those, and but now it's got the 16.5. Choke's good, throttle's good, from what I can tell. And you can kind of see where they've done a little bit of wiring on this right here. So this wire is actually has corroded and actually looked like it burned and broke here. Not the first time I've seen this. Sometimes these connectors will short out internally and cause issues. So, and it could be that the stator's not frying the wire, because if it was, the whole wire would be fried. Here it's just, it burnt the end off. So we'll retract that a little bit. I'll probably cut it right, oh gosh, right here, and just splice it back together, just to eliminate that entire white wire. I don't see any other issues with the wiring. I do see that it looks like these cables have gotten hot at some point back here for the battery. You can see where somebody's put a bunch of electrical tape around them. They don't look like they're broken, but I bet somebody kept cranking on this and cranking on it and cranking on it and put a lot of energy in them. And it kind of is indicative, if I can get, let me push this thing forward. I'm literally drowning in riding lawnmowers right now. It's actually kind of embarrassing. If I can get this thing pushed forward for us. Ugh. There we go. Okay. So it has a hydro transmission too. I've only had like 1 or 2 with a hydro. One of them was that Cub Cadet LT1320 that had the hydro lever on the actual dash panel. This one's got it on the side here where usually the Varadrive is. So that's a big plus. I've had a Yardman like this too. That was many, many years ago. Starter solenoid terminal is melted to pieces, which kind of goes along with the theme of these cables got really hot because somebody was cranking on it and cranking on it and cranking on it. So that's okay. I got some flat tires too in the front. The rear ones look like they're okay. I think they've been tubed. Let's check the fronts. I think he said the fronts were tubed too, but yeah, they are, but I think the tubes are about shot in them. I'll pump them up and see what I get out of them. I do have a couple of other couple of MTD tires right here that I can just pop on it and call it a day. That one's good right there. I just gotta, like I said, just gotta pump them up, put some ATF in them, and put them on if I want to. Anyways, one more thing I got to do. The way that I got this gas line here is the gas line is not that old, but the shutoff switch actually is leaking or is broken. Here, I can actually show you. The shutoff switch actually broke off somewhere. Yeah, see. So the shutoff switch broke off. I just need to install a shutoff switch. Let's throw gas all over the garage floor, why don't we? Yeah, this is going to happen anyways. But it runs just fine from the minute or two that I have ran it. So I'm going to let me set up everything. We're going to replace the starter solenoid on it, and I'm going to replace this wire here. What I think I'm going to do is just splice it around the connector to the ground, to this ground wire. Probably could just connect it straight to that green wire there, just to avoid this plug, which is shorted out. So let's get down to it. I'll go ahead and do that off camera real quick, and then we'll go ahead and replace the starter solenoid, see if we can get this thing running and driving and charging. Alright, y'all, I'm going to do my best to show you what I'm going to be doing here. Not too terribly difficult. I just need to grab a wrench set. So this starter solenoid is bad. We know that. It's pretty obvious. I don't see any melted wiring. I just see where those cables got hot. That's a 7.5 amp fuse. I have never seen one of those. I've seen 3 and 5, but I've never seen a 7.5. How about that? That's intact. So what we're gonna do? Oh, this one's loose. I bet it wasn't tight enough and ended up messing things up. So we're just gonna take it off. You like to see the Masked Singer, take it off, take it off. I'll stop there so I don't get trademark infringement. There we go. The other side. These are 7/16 or a half. I think these are halves. Yeah. So 1/2 inch. Remember, you're upside down, so you're going to turn the wrench to the right. There we go. Those terminals really were not on there that tight, so this doesn't surprise me that that it's having issues, or that it has these issues. The customer did say, or the guy who used to own this did say that he had the issue that he had resolved around. He cranked it, it ran, started smoking like wiring, and hasn't started since. That's all I knew when I bought it. Took a chance. Got curious off camera last night, right before I went to bed. Took off the little panel here that goes here and saw that the solenoid was fried. So let me grab a 3/8 wrench. break these loose. Those are on tight at least. Let me get a socket. I'll make life a little bit quicker. So we will take this off. I'll show you my wiring repair in just a second. I wanted to put a connector for it, but I didn't have one, so I just straight wired it. This engine's probably never going to come off of this lawnmower as it is. If so, all I gotta do is cut it and put a new connector on it. Ain't a big deal. Alright, 3/8. This hydro belt could use replacing, but on these older MTDs, as long as the transmission works, I don't worry with them. So there's your ground wire that pops in right there behind the solenoid. As you can see, this is where the solenoid failed on this one, right there on the inlet port. So I have this solenoid, which I'm going to see if these screws will work, and we'll use the bigger ones. Yeah. So obviously, so it goes down like this. Your ground goes with, this came off of an MTD. Like I said, I don't know if it's even good or not. It's one that I have here. At the very least, you see how it gets replaced here. So there we go. On one side, and there's the other bolt right there. Get them started. Remember, don't forget to put your ground, because these are 3-post solenoid. They don't ground inside the solenoid. They actually ground to the frame. So you want to make sure that you have that right. Wrench, wrench, wrench away. Make sure everything has good grounding. I have a feeling this is the problem, since it's pretty obvious why it wasn't starting. I don't think it fried any safety switches or anything like that. So let's alright, so I've already put one on post on there. So we're gonna put the terminal post on there. So this one's going up to the front of the mower, so I'm going to put it on this side. It really doesn't matter, but as long as it commands for the switch to close, that's all you need. We're going to get that, make sure that is tight. Let me get a 1/2 inch. Okay, 1/2 inch. We're just gonna tighten it up. There we go. The other side, we'll put the ground in as well. Like I said, as long as the solenoid's good, I think it's going to fire for us. You can see that they just use the same frame for the hydro and the Vari drive, because there's your There's your gear selector there. If they just say if they decide to put the Varadrive in the floor right here as opposed to on the shifter column or on the fender. But we got ourselves a high-end MTD here. We got a hydro on the fender. So that should be good enough. That's tight. Excuse me. Let me get my 7/16 back. We'll hook the battery up. I don't know if y'all can see me where I'm at now. We're gonna hook the battery up here, which I'll do off camera, and we'll see if we get this thing started. All right, y'all, that solenoid was a little old, so I cycled the key a few times, and we have ignition. That's good. So, here's what I'm going to do next. Just really quickly. Let me grab the tools that I need. We will, since this is hopefully going to be a quick video, I'll repair that fuel line. And thankfully there's enough slack on it to where I should be able to use the existing line. Oh yeah, easily. That's awesome. So I'll plug this off for the moment, put a new shut-off switch on it, and we'll crank this thing up. Hopefully we got a runner here. If so, air in the tires, see if they hold air. If not, we'll swap a tire or two out if we need to. Clean the deck off. I think he said he recently replaced the deck belt on it too, and that appears to be the case. So that's good, really, really good. So let me fix this fuel line, and then we'll see if we can crank it up. And I'll air up the tires too. See if we can get this thing cranked up and moving around the yard a little bit. Get it going. Move on to the next one. All right, guys, I got the tires pumped up. Let me see if I hear any air coming out of them. No, it could just be, excuse me, wow. Could just be that he just didn't pump them up at the end of the season. They have tubes in all four of them, so I presume that they'll stay up. If they had a busted tube, it would probably go down pretty quickly. New fuel shut off right there. It's going to take a few seconds for it to crank. The battery is from last year, so it should be good. See if it should run, stay running, cut grass, and do all that wonderful stuff. Let me check the blades real quick. Oh. They're a little dull, but they have great lift still left on them, so they just need a little sharpening. This has got that 4-stroke Nicky carb on it. Or the 4-stroke, oh my gosh, the 4-screw Nicky carb on it. I can't never get those to run right. Let's see if it cranks back up for us. Uh-oh. Ooh, it's missing chunks out of the drive belt. Uh-oh. Alright, so I gotta replace that drive belt. Oh my gosh. Man. That's not, I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's like, darn. I have to see what length belt I need. I really want to get this thing going though, because it's running good and driving fine otherwise. Might just go get a belt that's the length is about the same on it and roll with it. The thing that stinks is I got to take the deck completely off of it in order to get it. In order to get to the belt and take it off of the pulley and all that mess. So that kind of stinks, but oh, let's see how bad it's gonna be. It's not gonna be too bad. I just gotta do it. Maybe I don't have to take the deck off. I do need to blow out under the deck and everything, and sharpen the blades on it. But it is running and cutting. I hate that it's surging like it is, but it's one of them stupid 4-screw Nicky carbs, and every single one of them that I get seem to surge. One thing I do want to check is to see if the battery is charging. Probably won't crank now, will it? No, because I don't have the park brake down. Which is missing on this mower. Because the blades are down. Ugh. Here's what I do. Let's see. That should crank now. No, because I gotta have the park brake down. Let me make sure the battery's charging. I'll get it running. I'll show you the clip of that going on too. All right, y'all. I've started getting the deck belt off. I think this is gonna be a lot easier than a Veradrive, but so I just pulled the tensioner pulley here, and I was able to loosen this. You can see just like literally just chunks missing out of this belt. So what I also did is it's pretty easy to pull the actual deck belt off of the pulley here in the front, so I've done that as well. I've gotten the drive belt down, and I'm about to take it and feed it through right there. We're going to get the deck belt out of the way for the moment. Don't make sure you don't cut yourself or anything on this. Get the deck belt out of the way. Now the drive belt. Oh, I think people can see that. There we go. So we're getting the drive belt out of the way. So we've got it across the pulley. Now we're going to pull it back through here. Should be nothing else impeding it. And there won't be anything once I push this deck down some. Or will there? Let's see. Oh, there's another pulley down there. Okay, alright. Let's look under the mower here. Let's see what this other pulley is that's causing the issues. So it's that pulley right there. Can y'all even see it? I don't even know. Right there. Y'all can see it. That's what's impeding it. And it's got a guide on it. So I've got to unscrew it from the bottom. I'm going to do that real quick. Unscrew it from the bottom down there. I don't know how well y'all are going to be able to see that. And then what we'll do also is so I was able to pull the belt through the back as well, just kind of getting it off of the fan there. So I got that going. I've got to get that one pulley off down there, which I can't show y'all very well just because of the access to it, but it's right there. And I think I just have to lower it. I might have to get a wrench down there to do it. And that way, because that's a keeper on that belt, and so I'll get that keeper off and that'll get the rest of it out. I think it was a 954 something 36, so a 1/2 inch by 79 inch, like to the T, 79 inch. So I can just go buy a generic 79 inch belt and be okay from wherever. And so let me get that other one off. I'll show you the condition of the belt before I put a new one on. I'm going to try and try and clean the carb out a little bit too, because it's running a little lumpy, as Mick would say. So let me do that real quick as well. All right, y'all. Let me show you how I got that pulley off with a stubby 1/2 inch, and then I had a wrench up top here holding the nut on, and impacted it off. This belt is done, as you can see, like completely done. So what I'm going to do, I'll make sure, I wish there was a number on the belt that would correspond, and it doesn't, so that, I guess we're going to be guessing here. 1/2 inch by 79 inch belt. I will put that on. We'll get this drive belt on, clean the carburetor, and hopefully this thing will be done, ready to leave. All right, y'all, that's a little bit better. Like I said, it is 79 inches right to the T, so I was able to buy just a regular V belt instead of one that had to exactly match. So that makes me very happy. I'm going to put the belt on. It's very hard to film under there, so I'm just going to put the belt on, show you the routing and everything, and then we will see if we can get it to run a little bit better. And then once we do that, this thing is done. You give it a wash, test it, sharpen the blades. Y'all, I ain't even checked the oil in this thing, or the air filter. Holy moly. Probably should have checked the oil a little bit earlier, because there ain't nothing in it hardly. Wow. Okay. Lesson learned right there. I will be definitely putting oil in it, because there's not much in it. Put the belt on. I'll put some oil in it. Check the gas, or check the check the jet, which I'm not going to take the whole carb off. I'm just going to see if I can get, so you can access the jet by that 3/4 inch bolt right, oh that sun, right there. Some gas will pour out, and then you should be able to access the jet. I'm not going to take the jet out. I'm just going to try and scrape it with a wire, spray it with a little bit of carb cleaner to see if that helps it any. If it does, great. If not, we might take the carb off real quick just to see if, or take the top jets off to see if that helps matters anymore. So let me get the belt on, put some oil in it, and I'll rejoin you. Alright y'all, the new drive belt is on. It's very, I tell you what, you'd be here all day with the Vera drive belt. This thing right here was super easy. I even put everything back on, you know, for video purposes, right? Not really. But it's super easy. It's just to there and back. Across that pulley and then that tensioner pulley. And then the hydro pulley, I didn't even have to take the battery out. I didn't have to take the deck off. I didn't have to do anything unnecessary, apart from take that fourth or that pulley off that I showed you a little bit earlier. So another thing I did is take off that 3/4 inch bolt that I showed you, and it exposes the jet. I just took some carb spray and sprayed it in there. We'll see if that makes it run any better. I hope it does. Because it was surging quite a bit. I did also check the battery. I did mess with the connections a little bit, and I finally got it to where it was charging at like 12.6. I saw a 12.8 here and there. So I think that's good. We're gonna walk. We're gonna crank this thing up and drive it out. Make sure the drive belt and everything's good on it. Drive belt was like 20 bucks. I went to Tractor Supply because I didn't want to wait 4 days just to save $10 when I can get this thing out this weekend. Let me put some oil in it. I forgot to do that. So, I'll put oil in it and we'll drive it around. Oops. Alright, y'all, let's try this again. It sounded like it was running a little bit better, which is good. It is full of oil. It took about 30 ounces. So it still had probably 20 ounces in it. So it wasn't completely empty, but it was definitely not touching the dipstick. So that drive belt really helped. I don't know why it's still running, but it helped with the jerkiness and all that mess. So that's good. You can still hear it's running a little rough. Once it's off by idle, it's not really doing that. It's just whenever there's a load, not a load on it. So deck's not jumping up and down, which means it's not surging while it's running, or while the deck is engaged. Man, look at all that pollen. Woo! Okay, so let's see if it'll start back up for us. I mean, it starts right back up. Give it some gas and move with it, you hear the surging kind of stops. So this thing right here will just stop real quick. Whenever the governor's drawing the load, it's fine. Man, but that thing stops. It stops, that's for sure. I'm tempted to put another solenoid on it, but it'll start. Will it start right back up? Yeah. I'm going to make sure that it's charging. I might cut some grass and just run some seafoam through it and see if that'll help matters. But let me get this. I'll kind of show you that it's charging though, because I mean, you know, those opposed twins really do require quite a bit of charging or power to start. Blades are still turning a little bit because the blade brakes are a little worn as well. I could probably bend them down a little bit. To make that better. They're also pretty worn too, which doesn't help. So, but given the age of the tractor, it's really not bad. I am going to take a 5/16 wrench and pull the throttle cable out a little bit, because I think it can run at a little bit higher RPM. Maybe put up the intake before. But yeah. Actually just need to tighten it up a little bit. I'm gonna tighten this up, see if it runs a little bit faster. It's not charging like as much as I want it to, but it is charging, which is good. There we go. Now it should. Hopefully it'll run a little bit faster. It just seems like it's not running as fast as it usually would. Anyways, I'm going to take it out for a spin. If it cuts the grass well, I will clean it up and list it. Alright y'all, so I have sharpened the blades and everything. I just actually finished cutting the backyard with it. It does fine. I did replace the 2 front tires because they needed it. Both of them were airing down after about a day, even though they had tubes in them. Warm start. It's just surging a lot. Well, that's a little better. And like I said, this has got the 4-screw carb on it, so it is not adjusting like it needs to. I would say either the governor's too loose, or I'm not sure. I wonder if I could tighten the governor down a little bit, because that governor spring is really not moving all that much. It's got a lot of play in it. So if not, I'm going to take the air filter off and look at the low side jets. But like I said, these 4-screw Nicky carbs are just not suited very well for this application, unfortunately. Let me see if that's any better. That is a little better. That is a little better. Let me readjust this a little bit. Let me push that, what is it, that governor spring there? Not the governor spring, but I guess the idle spring, or I don't know the proper name for it. But I think it is a governor adjustment spring. I'm going to push that in a little bit more. Seems like that helped it some. See if we can get it running. It sounds like it's running a little bit faster too, which is good. And then hopefully wash this thing up and get it sold. That's a good lawnmower otherwise. It runs good, cuts good, it's got new belts on it. Cosmetically, it's pretty decent, especially for the age. So I think we're going to be okay with this one. Like I said, we'll see what we got going on with it. I'll adjust that governor spring in, see if it runs any better. Alright y'all, here's the final product of the MTD LT1442. Like I said, You saw in the video, we put a drive belt on it. I ended up having to put 2 different front tires on it because both of those that had tubes in them were leaking out within a day's time. So I did put 2 new tires on it. Not new, but ones that hold air. Like I said, drive belt. And you'll hear it run here in just a second, but I'll show you what I did. You probably heard it was running a little bit slow for it to be at full throttle. Well, I found out, well, it's been a while since I've worked on an opposed twin, but I don't know if you can see where my finger is. That star screw right there actually controls the throttle. I guess it's attached to the governor and whatnot as well, but it controls all that. Seems like it, I screwed it in some and it worked fine. Like I said, I don't think this is, looking at this thing, I don't think this is the original engine that came on this lawnmower. I think it was supposed to be like a 14 horsepower single cylinder overhead valve, because I wonder if it was supposed to have the little fenders on the side too, in addition to the hood. Either way, it really cleaned up nicely. I have it listed for $425. I got a hit within an hour. Somebody's coming within an hour and like an hour and 20 minutes away to look at this thing. You'll hear it running a little bit better. It's still not running 100% like I want it to run, but y'all have seen me work with opposed twin Briggs before, and you could work on them with those 4-screw Nicky carbs. This one's starting, running, driving, stopping, and restarting like it needs to. The key word there is restarting like it needs to. So I've cranked it up probably 12 or 15 times when it's warm. It started, you know, sometimes it's a little difficult to start, but generally starts right back up. Y'all know the quirks with an opposed twin Briggs sometimes. I mean, the seat is in amazing shape. Never find them looking like this. And I think this is an upgraded seat. I think this is just an upgraded lawnmower altogether for MTD. Sharpen the blades. Does pretty well for what it is. So let me crank it up for you. The only thing I noticed is that the seat safety switch doesn't seem to work. MTD and safety switches, I don't really like to mess with them. So, but you do have to press the brake down in order to start it. So there is some safety involved with it still. You can hear it running. It's trying to run away from me. Running a little faster and a little bit better. Still not 100% perfect, but that's okay. I need to drive it up here anyway since they're coming to look at it. This hydrostatic is awesome. I love the hydro on this. And you'll hear the blades turning faster too. Brakes also. I just bent them down some. And it does surge when it idles down some. But it speeds right back up like it should. Let's see if it cranks back up for us here. That's the key. Let it run for a second. I hate it's running like that, but like I said, I ran it for about, I cut my entire backyard with it, which probably took a good 20-25 minutes. Didn't really seem to have any adverse effects or anything like that. It's starting, running, restarting. For the price I have it listed for it to be in as good a shape it is, I think it is pretty fair what I'm asking for it. I'm not very good with the opposed twins, unfortunately. So I've put a video out about everything that I did to try and make the opposed twins restart better when hot, but I think those two that I had issues with the I think the exhaust valves weren't seating or something along those lines. I think it needed a valve grind. This one, like I said, is restarting just fine. Like I said, shouldn't have any issues with it, hopefully. So here, I might stick y'all in the gas can since I forgot to bring my trash or my tripod up, but let's see. That'll work, won't it? So that's the end of this one. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Really, I think this was a good trade. Like I said, $375 plus this for that Craftsman that was almost 25 years old. Yeah, about 25 years old. I think this one's somewhere in that same age group. I know the engine's a little bit newer, but I think this is like probably like a 93, 94 model. I couldn't find the model numbers worn off of the fender, so I couldn't really look it up to see exactly what it was. But required a little bit more work than I initially thought. They always do. However, it really wasn't much more. A $20 build isn't going to make or break, and I'm still going to make a decent amount of money on it. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Thank you again for watching. If y'all have any tips on how to make those 4-screw Nicky carbs run smoother, let me know. I've tried new carburetors. I've tried drilling out the jets some, and that seems to work, but I don't really want to venture to mess with this one just because it's running and starting running and restarting like it should. It just surges a little bit whenever there's no load on it. So I figured that I made the determination that I'm just going to leave it like it is, as opposed to try and make it run a little bit better, especially considering that this is an older lawnmower and most people that are looking to buy something in that $400 price range are just simply want it to run and cut the way that it needs to. And this one right here does the job just like it needs to. It probably will do it for a good long while. So I just figured I'd send this one and just let it roll, and hopefully it'll be good for the next owner. Worked well for the previous owner, and it was just that starter solenoid that conked out that just caused him to trade it. So glad it was just an easy fix. The stator is charging. It's charging at only about 12.6 to 12.7 volts, but it is charging because the battery hasn't run down or anything with all the amount of times that I've started it through this process. So I figure it's pretty good. So thank you all again for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.